in collaboration with the Cyprus Mail. This is the Cyprus News Digest with Rosie Charalambous.
Coming up this week, solar cars will take to the streets of Nicosia.
People will be able to see the cars driving among them, showing that the car can be a part of this society and this cannot be far away from reality.
Environmental groups on the island are beginning a campaign against moves to legalise bird trapping.
So instead of going for a zero tolerance policy, unfortunately, out of the blue I would say, the Ministry of Interior came to propose the legalization of ambelopougia hunting through a derogation from the EU directive.
The UN Secretary-General Special Advisor on Cyprus briefs the President of the European Parliament in Brussels.
Mr. Anastasia and Mr. Akinci, they are now really working hard to solve the Cyprus problem, and I feel on a daily basis their joint commitment to do so.
And we'll hear all about an Ecofestival.
So one of the things which will be going on is that we will be giving out more seeds to people who are interested in planting their own vegetables.
If you happen to be in central Nicosia on the 27th and 28th of June, well, you might be forgiven for looking twice at some of the vehicles you'll see on the roads. Coming up on that weekend is the 6th Solar Car Challenge organised by the Cyprus Institute. Marios Georgiou is one of those responsible. Marios, I remember back in 2010, I think it was, when the very first event of this nature took place at the Daytona karting track.
Yeah, that's true.
And it does seem that since then you're making it bigger and better, and what a great idea to take it to the people rather than expecting them to come out of town to see the cars.
Well, that's true. Well, we first started in 2010, and as you already mentioned, that was in a track race. And now in 2015, we are very happy and pleased that we have the opportunity to participate in the public roads, so especially in the center of Nicosia, meaning that people will be able to see the cars driving among them. I mean, okay, not among, but they can drive on the other side of the road, showing that the car can be a part of this society and this cannot be far away from reality.
How easy is it to organise something like this? Now you've got the template, this is, as we said, the 6th one. Are there little things that you do each year to try and fine-tune it, make it a little bit more accessible, a little better?
Yeah, well, it's true because, every year the cars are getting better and better, and they have, the competition is getting even harder. So we're trying to keep the level of this race into a high-level race, and we keep on trying to, for instance, this year the route will be somehow about double that the distance it was last year, so the cars will be able to get even maximum speed and get high speed, and then be able to cover even bigger distances. So we keep on trying giving people more challenges in order to improve their cars, improve their skills, and be able to show the best of their performance.
When you say high speeds, I mean, we are talking about roads in town, and although I'm sure that the few roads that they're going to actually race along will be closed to other traffic,
yes,
they're surely going to have to obey the speed limits.
Well, for those cars, even if they can speed with about 40 or 50 kilometers per hour, it means that's a really high speed for them because it's just solar cars. So the average speed of the cars is about 35 to 40 kilometers per hour, meaning that within 3 hours they can cover about 120 kilometers, saying that they could go from Nicosia to Paphos. So yeah, they do cover a big distance, and they stay within the limits because they cannot get a maximum speed of 70 or 80 kilometers. But even the 40 kilometers for them, it's a really high speed for those cars.
And where do the entrants come from? Back in the first one, there were a lot of schools taking part. Are they still involved?
Well, that's true, and especially we have the schools that started the race in 2010 are still participating, and one of them, or basically two of them, are keep on winning the race. So that's true, they became an expert of the race. And the race goes from school, starts from school age, and then goes to students, and there are also some people who are individual person who want to participate in the race.
Are they all from Cyprus, or have you got interest from abroad?
Well, we do have interest every year. I mean, at least every year we have at least 2 cars from abroad. This year, unfortunately, we're expecting only 1 participant from Greece, because there's another solar event at the same time in somewhere in Europe, and it's a bigger event. But hope that give us the chance to have more influence to the Cypriot people and to the Cypriot culture, in order to have them alert about the green energy.
So let's recap then. Where should people go if they want to see the cars in action? And I think that on the Saturday evening there is going to be like a procession down Lydra Street, which is of course a pedestrian area, so there'll be loads of people there.
Exactly. Firstly, on Saturday, the 27th of June, the cars will have a small parade within them 2 basic pavement streets of Nicosia, meaning the Lydras and Anasagorou streets. So they will start from the town hall, they do the small parade and go back to the town hall. And on Sunday we have the main event, which we will start at 10 in the morning, at 10 a.m. and it will start from Fotipita, it's near Stasikratu Street, and they will be racing for 3 hours. So they will end up at 1, and they will just go back to the town hall where we have the final feast for this event.
And the prize giving, of course. So that is the Solar Car Challenge 2015, and all the details must be on the Institute's website.
Exactly, they're all on the website, and you can find them free in the website of the Institute.
So check out or Google the Cyprus Institute if you'd like to find out more. And I must say, the last time I saw some of these entrants, extraordinary looking vehicles, and it's great to see them actually in action.
Listen online to the Cyprus News Digest on YouTube or at cyprusmail.libsyn.com. The latest program is uploaded every Friday, and if you missed one, you can catch up there.
Despite my aversion to cameras, I have just agreed to have my photo taken by BirdLife Cyprus. Why? Well, because they have got a campaign they're starting to bring about a change after the government, or rather the cabinet, introduced a controversial clause into proposed legislation about illegal bird trapping. With me are Klidos Papastylianou and Natalie Stylianou. Klidos, tell us about this campaign. And first of all, maybe you should tell us what exactly it is you're protesting about, so that people who aren't aware of that proposed change in the legislation know why you think this is so important.
We are protesting against the proposal raised by the Ministry of Interior and the decision taken by the Council of Ministers a couple of weeks ago. The decision is about the strategic action plan against illegal bird killing in Cyprus. And instead of undertaking a policy of zero tolerance against illegal, non-selective and large-scale trapping, killing and trade of wild birds.
And we're talking about the use of mist nets and lime sticks, which kill all sorts of things.
Electronic decoys, steel traps, name it. And every other form of killing, including shooting. Shooting of ambelopougias illegal in Cyprus since 1988 and trapping since 1974. So instead of going for a zero tolerance policy, unfortunately, out of the blue I would say, the Ministry of Interior came to propose the legalization of ambelopougia hunting through a derogation from the EU directive.
Because this is absolutely against the EU directive.
Actually, this is against national law, EU directive, and at least two international conventions. The Berne Convention on the Conservation of Wildlife and Natural Habitats in Europe, and the Bonn Convention on the Protection of Migratory Species.
So, let's get to the photographs. You've persuaded me, and you're hoping to persuade a lot of other people to have their photograph taken. Why?
This is a joint initiative of BirdLife Cyprus, the Cyprus Conservation Foundation Terra Cypria, Friends of the Earth Cyprus, the Committee Against Bird Slaughter, and the Foundation Pro Biodiversity. So we are all together in an effort to stop this decision. And the campaign is about having people from culture, arts, media, communication, holding a placard saying either protect birds, not poachers, or zero tolerance against illegal bird killing, and through that sending a clear message to society and trying to mobilize as many people as possible for also taking a stance against this and sending a message to politicians.
So you're going to get social media, I presume, very much involved in this, which will give you a huge audience, in a sense, particularly of younger people. Mm-hmm. Are you hoping that people will see these photos and then take their own selfie with their own message so that the politicians can see a groundswell of opinion?
Yep, that's one of the ideas. We're also going to present these photos in public, while at the same time presenting our positions and making clear that this is a decision not socially legalized through a public dialogue or consultation, but taken under closed doors with pressure mostly from politicians from the area where trapping takes place.
Natalie, it's interesting that in the paper today I saw an article about the relevant committee at the House of Representatives, the chairman of whom said he wants to see this proposed legislation before any move is made to approach the European Union for a derogation. What do you make of that?
Well, if you allow me, I'd like to go a step back and say that we're not opposed to the Strategic Action Plan. We're opposed to the alternative plan of the Strategic Action Plan. The Strategic Action Plan was agreed on through 2 workshops which were held in 2013 with participants from all the stakeholders, all the organizations that are affected by this or have a say in this or need to address this. And in these workshops, this alternative plan was never discussed. So this is one of the big problems, and our demand is for the adoption and implementation of the Strategic Action Plan as it was agreed. As you understand, illegal trapping is a very big and complex and persistent problem, and these workshops were actually the first opportunity for all these people to meet, discuss this problem, and agree on ways to address this. So this is actually what the Strategic Action Plan is.
But how come then sort of underhand methods were used, by the sound of it, that after holding workshops, then the government comes up with something else that it slipped in under the table?
Well, this is exactly what we can't allow because, as you said yourself, there was no consultation and it was done completely undemocratically. We had sent the Strategic Action Plan, as everybody agreed to it, in April 2014, and in May 2015 we get the surprise, we were informed through Philadelphios actually, who referred to an announcement of the Press and Information Office, where we were informed that the Ministerial Council had approved the Strategic Action Plan with an alternative plan to allow selective hunting of ambeloboulia. So we're also asking, how can a Strategic Action Plan to tackle this problem legalize the problem itself?
It's one of those imponderable questions, and I'm wondering what the politicians have as answers. Has anybody asked them?
Well, there has been an article in Politis over the weekend where they've been asked to position themselves on what's been happening, and there have been mixed responses.
Yeah, actually it seems that political parties are not exactly clear on their position. According to that article in Politis, at least AGEL and the C have no official position yet. The ECO is against this decision, and the DEC not only is in favor, but actually goes a step further and talks about lime sticks. But in the process...
It talks about legalizing lime sticks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in the process, it seems that even the information going out from the parties is not quite valid. So yesterday, for example, the General Secretary of AGEL stated that AGEL is against this decision and will not go for it. EDEC through unofficial discussion with MPs, seems that it also has a different position from what it was written in Politis. So it remains to be seen what will be the official position of political parties and MPs at the Parliament.
But the bottom line is that as soon as these pictures, or even before these pictures start hitting social media, you're inviting everybody who loves birds or simply wants to preserve the biodiversity and the extraordinary numbers of birds that are killed in Cyprus to make a placard saying
protect birds, not poachers, and if it is possible also to send that message in every way they can to politicians, parties and officials relating to this matter.
Tweet the pictures, put them up on Facebook, and let's see what sort of results we get. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you as well.
In collaboration with the Cyprus Mail, this is the Cyprus News Digest with Rosie Charalambous.
The biggest achievement of Crime Stoppers has been the ability of the public to be able to give information about crime anonymously.
There's no way I could have kept prostituting without the drugs. There's no way I could have had my body used like a public toilet, because that's actually what prostitution is.
And then the fourth series I started 3 days after I'd won the Oscar, so the whole of the Monarch of the Glen experience was all interplatted with the Gosford Park Oscar experience.
I was working with Ronnie James Dio, and David was going to reform Whitesnake in 2003.
Cyprus was chosen because Cyprus is a stable, peaceful and secure place.
We have to really look closely. What are we doing with children? What are we doing with adolescents? And what are we doing with adults that can help them move into a more literate situation?
The ones that I'm proudest of are the ones that were true discoveries, where we found something we didn't know existed.
The United Nations Secretary-General's Special Advisor on Cyprus, Espen Barth Eider, was in Brussels earlier this week to brief the President of the European Parliament, Martin Schulz, on progress in Cyprus reunification talks. Afterwards, they made short statements to the press.
This gentleman, Espen Barth Eider, and I raised all the problems, but especially the promising developments in the Cyprus question. I was informed about the last talks between the two communities. I listened very carefully to the analysis of the representative of the United Nations, who is not only an experienced diplomat, but also a friend, and by the way, we are belonging to the same political family, and are on which is concerning our estimates and our estimation for the next necessary steps and for the possibilities to come to a constructive solution in the foreseeable time. I would use one word: hope. Since a very long time there is real hope that we in the foreseeable time will come to a solution. Not yet done, still a lot of things to do, still a lot of problems ahead, but with the options for real constructive solutions. This is since a very long time. I'm serving here since 21 years, since a long time really a chance. And I guaranteed for the on behalf of the European Parliament, whatever the Parliament can do in the frame of the European Union institution, we are prepared to do, to be supportive and constructive in finding solutions. Therefore, Espen, thank you very much for your visit. Thank you for the informations, and count and rely on the European Parliament.
Thank you very much, President Schulz, my old good friend Martin. I was very happy to have this chance to exchange views with you and with the European Parliament. I really have hope, and I must say that much more important than what I think the leaders, Mr. Anastasiades, Mr. Akinci, they are now really working hard to solve the Cyprus problem, and I feel on a daily basis their joint commitment to do so. I think what the rest of us can do, the UN, the European Union, everybody who cares about the Cyprus question, is to help them, to support them in this very important process, because this is the moment. We either use this moment well, or there will be big disappointment again. But I am here with a message of strong opportunity, strong hope, and it's very good that the UN and the European Union is able to work so closely together on what is not only a Cyprus issue, but a European issue at its very heart.
Espen Barth Eider, the UN Secretary-General's Special Advisor on Cyprus, speaking earlier this week in Brussels. Prior to that, you heard the President of the European Parliament, Martin Schulz.
Keep up to date with events in Cyprus and around the world with the Cyprus News Digest.
Other stories in the news this week. The shop opening hours row continues, and the Povec Association of Small Shopkeepers says a Sunday opening is a red line for them. However, they're now going to have to deal with the sale periods, which previously have been set to a few weeks in February and again in August. But now it seems the Cabinet is taking into account a Supreme Court ruling which shows that EU directives supersede local law, and it could well be that very shortly retailers will have the choice of when they discount their products. Lagatamia municipality on the outskirts of Nicosia is apparently on the verge of bankruptcy. It's applied to the Interior Ministry for a payment to help it make its June payroll on time. Former Cypriot Interior Minister Dinos Michailidis, who was jailed in Greece in February for taking kickbacks from arms deals, has been, according to a Greek court ruling, given a conditional release. However, his family says it's unable to raise the €700,000 bond. According to the terms of his release, Michailidis would be barred from leaving the country and should appear at a police station twice a month. The court ruling was apparently based on the fact that Michailidis, who is 80, is not only at an advanced age, but also has health issues. His son, who was jailed with him, had his application refused. Turkish Cypriot leader Mustafa Akinci has been in New York meeting the UN Secretary-General. He was accompanied by the Turkish Cypriot negotiator Ozdil Nami and other aides. According to Turkish Cypriot press, he's going to express the wish that a solution be reached in Cyprus by the end of this year. And some good news from Paphos, where the zoo is celebrating the birth of a male dromedary. The parents apparently had a female born in January last year, but she had genetic defects and died a few weeks later. The newborn apparently has been checked over and appears to be healthy without any problems. On Sunday, there's going to be an ecological celebration taking place at the park in Larnaca Avenue, Arlanca. One of the organisers is Anakiklos Perivalondiki, and from there, Androula Shati joins us to tell us all about it. Androula, this is not the first time, I think. You did this last year as well. Mm-hmm. When you say an ecological celebration, what are you actually going to be doing? Because it's an all-day thing on Sunday.
Yes, we are going to have lots of people who come from all over Cyprus, and they will be there not only to sell their produce, which is going to be biological produce, far away from all these fertilizers and insecticides, but also they will be explaining to people how you can grow your own garden and have your own Cypriot traditional species of vegetables. So you don't have to keep going back to all these nurseries to buy new plants from which you can never get seeds. You will have your own seeds, because this year we did 2 collective seed sowing sessions and we gave away thousands of plants which people took away to plant in their, in their garden, in their pots, on their piece of land. And they have an obligation. They must come back with seeds next spring when we are going to do the next collective seed sowing. So one of the things which will be going on is that we will be giving out more seeds to people who are interested in planting their own vegetables.
And presumably telling them when is a good time to plant, because
everything.
The problem I think a lot of people have here, if they're not into gardening, if you go online and look at the best time to plant things, there's not a great deal of information out there for our climate. I know that I always add or subtract a few months to try and make up for the heat of the summer so that the seeds have the best chance of actually taking off.
We will have people from the Agricultural Institute giving information there, like we did last year. Last year our Eco-Yorti, our ecological festival, unfortunately had to stop abruptly because it poured down with rain, and we had tens of people collecting all their stuff and running to seek shelter somewhere. It was very unfortunate because it was going really well. We had the kitchen there with organic food. We are going to have a lady this year baking bread on the spot and giving it to people to take home to bake. We will also have people who will be using natural ingredients to make toothpaste, different cosmetics like facial cream, hand cream, etc. And somebody will be also making jam without the use of sugar, of course. They will be using, if I can find the word, agave. It's a kind of syrup of agave, which is not harmful as sugar is. And there's going to be people explaining how you can make your own compost using earthworms and other bio materials in your own garden, in your own kitchen even. You don't need to have a huge garden or even a garden to make your own compost.
You just need a bin or something like that, don't you? Yeah.
So there's going to be people explaining how you can keep away from all these chemical medicines and keep healthy using alternative methods of medicine. There will be somebody explaining. There's going to be a presentation on how you can build a house using natural materials like cob, like domes, using sandbags, earth bags.
So it's a real mixture of things that should interest both men and women, because it does,
and children as well.
It does tend to be women, doesn't it, who take the lead on these sort of things. But you'll have things there for the guys as well. And as you say, children, you've got lots of activities, I think, for children.
Yes, there's going to be yoga for children and different games. They will be making various creative things with recyclable materials with us, with Anakiklos Περιβαλλοντική. And we are also going to have live music. There will be music going on all through the day, but we will also have live music. And a dancing group will come there unofficially, not wearing traditional costumes, etc. They will come there, a number of people, with their music. They will dance and they will show us the steps of some of these circular dances, as we call them, κυκλικούς χορούς.
So people can learn to dance, people can learn all about bread making and the good things that are there probably on our doorstep when it comes to natural health and so on. And it's all happening at the Larnaca Avenue Park, Academy National Park they call it, I think, in Arlanca in Nicosia. It starts at 11 in the morning and goes all the way through till 8 p.m. at night, is that right?
I think the last thing that will be happening will be the dancing. We will close with this dancing group, which is coming there for free, of course. We are all volunteers there to show us their dances and to show us how to do a little bit of dancing ourselves.
And by then, if you've got the energy, you can dance at the end of it as well. Take the kids down there for some yoga. Have you got a contact number if people want more details or aren't sure exactly where to go?
Yes, the number is 7000-7102. 7000-7102. And people can express their wish to come there. We will explain how they will get there. Already we have more than 60 people participating, so we are not open for more participations right now. But I am sure people will enjoy being there. Our aim is to keep the local produce, to keep people buying the local produce, get how do you call them? The people who are between the producer and the seller.
Cut out the middleman.
Cut out the middleman and get all this fresh bio produce to the consumer so that the prices don't shoot up. This is part of what's going to be happening there.
Okay, well, there you go. So it's Sunday, 11 in the morning until 8 p.m. in the Alanja Park in Nicosia. Well, that about wraps up this edition of the Cyprus News Digest. Many thanks for your company. Hope you'll join me next week. Till we meet again, take care and God bless. Bye-bye now.